In the bustling city of Mecca, a place of ancient traditions and new spiritual awakenings, lived two men. Their names were Abu Bakr and Umar ibn al-Khattab. These men were very different from each other in many ways. Abu Bakr was known for his calm nature and gentle demeanor. People trusted him. Umar, on the other hand, was known for his strong will and fiery temper. He was a man who commanded respect, sometimes through fear. Their paths were destined to cross in a way that would change their lives forever. They would become central figures in a new faith, Islam, that was just beginning to emerge in the Arabian Peninsula, a faith that would soon spread across vast lands. Their journeys were remarkable. They moved from lives rooted in the old ways of Arabia to becoming leaders of a new community. This community was built on the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. The transformation they underwent was not just personal, it was a transformation that would shape the course of history. Abu Bakr, the quiet friend, and Umar, the stern enforcer, would both play crucial roles. They would support the Prophet in his most difficult times. They would also lead the Muslim community after his passing. Their stories are stories of faith, courage, and profound change, reflecting the very essence of early Islam's dynamic spirit and its power to reshape individuals and societies. Before Islam, Mecca was a city of tribes and commerce. It was a place where old gods were worshipped, social structures were deeply entrenched. Abu Bakr and Umar were products of this environment. They lived according to the customs of their people, the Quraysh. Yet, within them lay a capacity for something more, something that the new message of Islam would unlock. Their lives before Islam provide a stark contrast to what they would become. This contrast highlights the profound impact of the Prophet's message. It shows how deeply individuals can change when touched by a powerful spiritual and moral calling, moving from one worldview to another with conviction. This essay will explore the lives of these two extraordinary men. We will look at who they were before the Prophet Muhammad began his mission. We will see how they encountered the message of Islam and how it transformed them. We will then follow their journeys as key figures in the early Muslim community. We will examine their contributions as the first two caliphs, leaders who guided the Muslims after the Prophet. Their leadership laid the foundations for a new civilization. Their stories are not just historical accounts, they are tales of human potential and the enduring power of faith, offering timeless lessons even today for people from all walks of life. Abu Bakr, whose full name was Abdullah ibn Abi Quafa, was a respected figure in Meccan society. He was born a few years after Prophet Muhammad. He belonged to the Banu Taym clan, a branch of the larger Quraysh tribe. Though not the most powerful clan, the Banu Taym were known for their involvement in trade and their generally peaceful disposition. Abu Bakr himself was a successful merchant. He traveled with caravans to Syria and Yemen, learning about different cultures and ways of life. This experience broadened his horizons. It also made him a man of considerable wealth and practical wisdom. People in Mecca knew him for his honesty and his fair dealings in business. His character was marked by gentleness and a thoughtful nature. He was not prone to the excesses that were common in pre-Islamic Arabia, such as excessive drinking or feuding. Instead, he was known for his kindness and his willingness to help others. He had a deep understanding of Arab genealogies and history, which made him a valued member of Meccan society. People would often consult him on such matters. He was a man who valued friendship deeply. His close bond with Muhammad, even before Islam, was well known. They shared similar values of integrity and a dissatisfaction with some of the cruder aspects of Meccan society, particularly the idol worship that dominated the religious landscape. Abu Bakr was a man who thought deeply about the world around him. The prevalent worship of numerous idols in the Kaaba did not fully satisfy his spiritual inclinations. He was, by nature, inclined towards monotheism, even if he did not articulate it in a formal way before Islam. He avoided many of the pagan rituals that were central to Meccan life. This quiet introspection and inherent goodness made him receptive when a new message, a call to worship one God, began to emerge. His reputation as al-Siddiq, meaning the truthful or the one who affirms the truth, was not just a title he earned later. It was a reflection of his innate character recognized by those who knew him well. His social standing was solid. He was not a chieftain with immense political power, but he was a man of influence due to his wealth, his wisdom, and his impeccable character. He used his resources generously, often to help those in need or to free slaves. This compassion was a hallmark of his personality. His life before Islam was one of quiet dignity and respectability. He was a successful businessman, a loyal friend, and a thoughtful individual. These qualities would prove to be invaluable when he encountered the message brought by his close friend Muhammad, a message that would call upon all his reserves of loyalty, courage, and wisdom. Umar ibn al-Khattab presented a starkly different figure from Abu Bakr. He was younger than the Prophet Muhammad by about 13 years. He belonged to the Banu Adi clan, also a part of the Quraysh tribe. The Banu Adi were known for their role as arbitrators and envoys in intertribal affairs. Umar himself was a man of imposing physical presence. He was tall, strong, and possessed a commanding voice. In his youth, he was a skilled wrestler and a fearless horseman. His reputation in Mecca was that of a tough, resolute, and often intimidating individual. He was quick to anger and did not shy away from using force to assert his views or the authority of the Quraysh. Before Islam, Umar was a staunch defender of the traditions and customs of his ancestors. He was deeply committed to the pagan religion of Mecca and the social order it represented. He viewed any challenge to this established way of life with extreme hostility. When Prophet Muhammad began to preach the message of Islam, calling for the worship of one God and denouncing idol worship, Umar became one of its fiercest opponents. He saw this new teaching as a threat to the unity of the Quraysh and the prestige of Mecca as a religious center. His opposition was not passive. He actively persecuted the early Muslims, using his strength and influence to intimidate and harm them. Umar was known for his intelligence and his strong sense of justice, even if it was initially applied within the framework of pre-Islamic Arab values. He was literate, which was a rare skill in Mecca at that time. This allowed him to appreciate poetry and rhetoric. Despite his harsh exterior, he was also capable of deep thought. However, his loyalty to his tribe and its traditions often overshadowed other considerations. He believed firmly in upholding the honor of the Quraysh and maintaining their dominance. The early Muslims, many of whom were from weaker segments of society or were slaves, faced his wrath directly. He saw them as disruptors of the peace and corrupters of their ancestral faith. His life was one of action and conviction. He was not a man to sit on the sidelines. If he believed in something, he pursued it with all his might. This very intensity, which initially made him a dangerous enemy of Islam, would later become one of his greatest strengths as a Muslim. His pre-Islamic life was characterized by a fierce adherence to the status quo, a powerful personality that could be both respected and feared, and a deep-seated loyalty to his tribe. He was a formidable figure in Mecca, a man whose anger was dreaded and whose support was sought. The transformation of such a man would be a testament to the profound power of the new faith. When Prophet Muhammad first received the divine revelations and began to share the message of Islam, Abu Bakr was one of the very first people he approached. The Prophet knew his friend's character well. He knew Abu Bakr's integrity, his thoughtful nature, and his quiet yearning for something more profound than the idol worship of Mecca. He presented the new faith to Abu Bakr, explaining the concept of Tawheed, the oneness of God, and his own role as God's messenger. For Abu Bakr, this message resonated deeply. It was as if he had been waiting for such a truth all his life, a truth that aligned with his innate disposition. Abu Bakr did not hesitate. He did not ask for proofs or miracles. His acceptance of Islam was immediate and unconditional. His trust in Muhammad, his lifelong friend, was absolute. He knew Muhammad to be Al-Amin, the trustworthy, and Al-Sadiq, the truthful. If Muhammad said he was a prophet of God, Abu Bakr believed him without reservation. This immediate acceptance was a powerful testament to both the Prophet's character and Abu Bakr's own spiritual readiness. He became the first adult free man to embrace Islam. This act of faith, made quietly but firmly, marked the beginning of his unwavering support for the Prophet and the nascent Muslim community. His conversion was not just a personal affair. Abu Bakr immediately began to use his influence and wealth to support the new faith. He was a respected merchant, and many people trusted his judgment. He spoke to his close friends and associates about Islam, and several prominent Meccans converted through his efforts. These included figures like Uthman ibn Affan, Abd al-Rahman ibn Auf, and Talha ibn Ubaidullah, who would all become important companions of the Prophet. Abu Bakr's gentle persuasion and the example of his own sincere faith were powerful tools in spreading the message of Islam in its earliest, most vulnerable days in Mecca. Moreover, Abu Bakr used his wealth to alleviate the suffering of early Muslims, particularly slaves who were persecuted for their new beliefs. He purchased and freed several Muslim slaves, such as Bilal ibn Rabah, who faced brutal torture at the hands of their masters. This act of compassion and solidarity was crucial for the morale of the small community. Abu Bakr's conversion was a quiet revolution, a gentle stream that would grow into a mighty river. His immediate and unwavering support provided the Prophet with a crucial ally, a confidant, and a source of strength during the challenging years of preaching in a hostile Meccan environment. Section 5: Umar's stormy path to submission. Umar's conversion to Islam was dramatically different from Abu Bakr's. It was a story of intense conflict, sudden realization, and profound transformation. For years, Umar had been one of the most vehement opponents of Islam. He had actively persecuted Muslims, believing he was defending the traditions of his forefathers. His anger towards the Prophet Muhammad and his followers was immense. One day, consumed by this rage, he decided to take matters into his own hands. He set out with his sword, intent on killing the Prophet Muhammad, whom he saw as the root cause of the divisions within Mecca. His resolve was firm, his heart filled with fury. On his way he encountered Nu'aym ibn Abdullah, a man who had secretly converted to Islam but had not disclosed his faith. Nu'aym, seeing Umar's menacing demeanor, asked him where he was going. Umar declared his intention to kill Muhammad. Nu'aym, trying to divert him and protect the Prophet, told Umar to first deal with his own household, informing him that his sister, Fatima bint al-Khattab, and her husband, Said ibn Zayd, had also embraced Islam. This news struck Umar like a thunderbolt. He was enraged that the new faith had infiltrated his own family. He immediately changed his course and headed towards his sister's house, his anger now directed at her. When Umar reached his sister's house, he heard the sound of Quranic verses being recited from within. He burst into the house in a fury. His sister and brother-in-law tried to hide the parchment from which they were reading, but Umar had already heard enough. He confronted them violently, striking his brother-in-law and even his sister when she tried to intervene, causing her to bleed. Seeing his sister's blood and her defiant courage as she declared her faith, Umar was suddenly struck with a sense of shame and remorse. He saw the parchment and asked to read it. Though initially hesitant, his sister, after telling him to purify himself, allowed him to read the verses from Surah Taha. As Umar read the sacred words, their beauty and profound meaning deeply moved him. The verses spoke of God's majesty, mercy, and the purpose of revelation. His heart, once hardened by anger and prejudice, began to soften. The truth of Islam penetrated his soul. He realized that this was no mere poetry or magic, but divine words. Overwhelmed, he declared his desire to embrace Islam. He was then taken to the Prophet Muhammad, who was with his companions in the house of Al-Arqam. The companions were fearful of Umar's arrival, but the Prophet welcomed him. Umar declared his faith, and the Muslims rejoiced, shouting Allahu Akbar, God is great, so loudly that it was heard throughout Mecca. Umar's conversion, a stormy and dramatic event, was a major turning point for the early Muslim community. Section 6: Steadfast Companions. Service and sacrifice in Mecca and Medina. After their conversions, both Abu Bakr and Umar became pillars of strength for the nascent Muslim community. In Mecca, they endured persecution alongside other Muslims. Abu Bakr, with his gentle demeanor, faced ridicule and abuse, yet he remained steadfast, using his social standing to protect weaker Muslims whenever possible. He openly proclaimed his faith, often at great personal risk. His home became a refuge, and his wealth was dedicated to the cause of Islam. He was the Prophet's closest confidant, sharing his burdens and offering unwavering support. His belief in the Prophet never wavered, even when faced with the harshest opposition from the powerful Quraysh leaders who sought to crush the new movement. Umar's conversion brought a new dynamic to the Muslim community. His formidable presence and fearless nature meant that the Muslims could no longer be intimidated as easily as before. He openly challenged the Quraysh and insisted on praying publicly at the Kaaba, a bold move that encouraged other Muslims. His strength and courage provided a shield for the vulnerable. However, the persecution in Mecca continued to intensify. The Muslims faced social boycott, economic hardship, and physical violence. Both Abu Bakr and Umar remained resolute, their faith deepening through these trials. They understood that their commitment to Islam required sacrifice, and they were prepared to make it. The Hijra, the migration from Mecca to Medina, marked a new chapter. Abu Bakr had the distinct honor of accompanying Prophet Muhammad on this perilous journey. He meticulously planned for it, preparing camels and provisions. During the journey they hid in the cave of Thar for 3 days while the Quraysh searched for them. Abu Bakr's loyalty and concern for the Prophet's safety during this critical time are legendary. Umar, on the other hand, made his hijrah openly, challenging anyone from the Quraysh to stop him. His bold departure further demonstrated the growing confidence and strength of the Muslims, even as they left their homes behind. In Medina, Abu Bakr and Umar continued to play crucial roles in establishing the new Muslim society. Abu Bakr contributed generously to the building of the Prophet's mosque and supported needy muhajirun, emigrants. Umar became a key advisor to the Prophet, known for his sharp intellect and his strong sense of justice. He participated in all major battles, defending the new community with valor. Their contrasting personalities complemented each other and served the Prophet well. Abu Bakr's wisdom and gentleness, combined with Umar's strength and decisiveness, were invaluable assets in the formation and consolidation of the Islamic State in Medina. Section 7. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the first caliph, steering the Ummah. The passing of Prophet Muhammad in 632 CE plunged the Muslim community into a state of profound grief and uncertainty. The Prophet had not explicitly named a successor, and the future of the Ummah community hung precariously in the balance. It was a moment that required swift and decisive leadership. Amidst the confusion, prominent companions gathered, including Abu Bakr and Umar. Different factions, particularly the Ansar, helpers from Medina, and the Muhajirun, emigrants from Mecca, had their own perspectives on who should lead. It was Umar who first recognized the urgency and Abu Bakr's suitability, pledging his allegiance to him, an act quickly followed by others. Abu Bakr was thus chosen as the first caliph, the successor to the Prophet in political and administrative matters. Abu Bakr's caliphate, though short, lasting just over 2 years from 632 to 634 CE, was fraught with immense challenges. His foremost task was to maintain the unity of the Muslim community. Immediately after the Prophet's death, several Arab tribes renounced Islam or refused to pay zakat, the obligatory charity. These movements, known as the Ridda Wars, Wars of Apostasy, threatened to dismantle the newly formed Islamic State. Abu Bakr, despite his gentle nature, responded with firmness and resolve. He understood that the integrity of Islam and the state were at stake. He dispatched armies to deal with the rebellious tribes, asserting the authority of Medina. His unwavering stance during the Ridda Wars was crucial. Some companions advised leniency, but Abu Bakr insisted that there could be no compromise on the fundamental principles of Islam, including the payment of zakat. He famously declared, "By Allah, if they withhold from me even a rope which they used to pay to the Messenger of Allah, I will fight them for it." His determination successfully quelled the rebellions and consolidated the Arabian Peninsula under Muslim rule. This period also saw the initiation of military expeditions into the Byzantine territories in Syria and the Sasanian territories in Iraq, laying the groundwork for future expansions. Another significant contribution during Abu Bakr's caliphate was the compilation of the Quran. Many Hafaz, those who had memorized the Quran, had died in the Ridda Wars. Umar, concerned about the potential loss of the Quranic text, urged Abu Bakr to collect it into a single written volume. Initially hesitant, Abu Bakr eventually recognized the wisdom of this proposal. He entrusted Zayd ibn Thabit, one of the Prophet's primary scribes, with this monumental task. This careful compilation ensured the preservation of the Quran in its original form for all future generations. Abu Bakr's leadership, characterized by wisdom, courage, and deep faith, successfully navigated the Ummah through one of its most critical periods. Section 8. Umar al-Faruq, the just ruler, architect of an empire. Before his death, Abu Bakr, after consulting with senior companions, nominated Umar ibn al-Khattab as his successor. Umar became the second caliph in 634 CE, inheriting a state that was now more stable but poised for significant expansion. His caliphate, lasting for 10 years, 634 to 644 CE, is renowned for its remarkable military successes, its administrative innovations, and Umar's personal commitment to justice. He earned the title al-Faruq, meaning the one who distinguishes between right and wrong. His era witnessed the conquest of vast territories, including Syria, Palestine, Egypt, Iraq, and parts of Persia, bringing these ancient lands under Muslim rule. Umar was a brilliant strategist and administrator. He organized the rapidly expanding state with remarkable efficiency. He established the Diwan, a bureau for registering soldiers and managing their stipends, ensuring a well-organized army. He founded new cities like Kufa, Basra, and Fustat to serve as administrative and military centers in the conquered lands. He introduced the Islamic Hijri calendar, starting from the year of the Prophet's migration to Medina. Furthermore, he established a system of provincial governance, appointing governors, walis, and judges, qadis, and holding them accountable for their actions. His emphasis on accountability was legendary. He would often patrol the streets at night to observe the conditions of his people directly. Justice was the cornerstone of Umar's rule. He was meticulous in ensuring that justice was applied equally to all, regardless of their social status, religion, or ethnicity. There are numerous accounts of his humility and his concern for the welfare of the common people, including non-Muslims living under Islamic rule, dhimmis, whose rights and protection he guaranteed. He famously said, "If a mule stumbles on the banks of the Euphrates, I fear Allah will ask me why I did not pave the road for it." This deep sense of responsibility characterized his leadership. He lived a simple, austere life, shunning the raskosha that often accompanies power. Umar also focused on the religious and moral well-being of the Muslim community. He encouraged the study and memorization of the Quran. He established congregational Taraweeh prayers during Ramadan. He was known for his firm stance on moral issues and his efforts to uphold Islamic principles in society. His leadership was a blend of strength, wisdom, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to justice. Under his guidance, the Islamic Caliphate transformed from a regional power into a vast, well-administered empire, built on principles of fairness and accountability. His assassination in 644 CE by a disgruntled Persian slave was a great loss to the Muslim Ummah. Section 9. Enduring Legacies, Shaping Islamic Civilization. The contributions of Abu Bakr and Umar ibn al-Khattab to the nascent Islamic community and the subsequent caliphate are immeasurable. They were not just companions of the Prophet Muhammad, they were foundational figures who, through their unwavering faith, courage, and leadership, helped to shape the destiny of Islam. Abu Bakr, the gentle and steadfast Siddiq, successfully navigated the Ummah through the tumultuous period following the Prophet's death. He preserved the unity of the Muslims, quelled internal rebellions, and ensured the continuity of the Islamic State. His decision to compile the Quran into a single volume remains one of his most significant and enduring legacies, safeguarding the sacred text for all time. Umar al-Faruq, the just and visionary leader, built upon the foundations laid by Abu Bakr. His caliphate witnessed unprecedented expansion, transforming the Islamic State into a major world power. More importantly, he established robust administrative, legal, and social institutions that became hallmarks of Islamic governance for centuries. His emphasis on justice, accountability, and the welfare of all citizens, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, set a high standard for leadership. His personal example of piety, humility, and simple living continues to inspire millions. Together, Abu Bakr and Umar are often referred to as two of the Rashidun, rightly guided caliphs, whose era is seen by many Muslims as a golden age of Islamic rule. Their personal transformations are as remarkable as their public achievements. Abu Bakr, the respected merchant, became the steadfast rock of the community in its most fragile moments. Umar, the fierce opponent of Islam, became one of its most devoted defenders and a paragon of justice. Their stories demonstrate the profound impact of faith in reshaping individual character and inspiring extraordinary actions. They dedicated their lives, wealth, and abilities to the service of Islam, first under the guidance of Prophet Muhammad and then as leaders of the Ummah. Their unwavering commitment, despite immense challenges, played a pivotal role in the consolidation and spread of the Islamic message. The legacy of Abu Bakr and Umar extends far beyond their lifetimes. Their leadership models, their administrative innovations, and their commitment to Islamic principles have influenced Islamic political thought and practice throughout history. They are revered by Muslims worldwide as exemplary figures of faith, integrity, and righteous leadership. Their journey from pre-Islamic Mecca to the helm of a burgeoning global community is a testament to their exceptional qualities and the transformative power of the message they embraced. Their contributions were instrumental in laying the groundwork for a civilization that would make profound contributions to science, culture, and spirituality for centuries to come, leaving an indelible mark on human history.